As a high school student, I've always wondered why is my part of my civic education not being incorporated into non-social sciences? And that led me to researching a little bit about the importance behind cross-disciplinary curriculum and my research proposal. How does the inclusion of civic education into non-social science courses increasing civic efficacy and participation? A little bit about the background information from a Tufts research idea that roughly around 20% of high school students are actually engaged civically. And democracy involves everyone. It does not just involve those who are disengaged or versus those who are engaged. It includes everybody. And repeated exposure to civics or any other subjects installs a lifelong commitment to civic education. And for a lot of young people like myself, we're feeling increasingly disconnected from our government and no longer perceive our government to work in the best interest in our capacity. And as a nation that prides itself to be the greatest democracy in the world, we only invest 5 cents per student on civic education. That is one nickel. And for STEM education, that's $50. And civics transcends beyond politics. It includes advocacy. It includes critical thinking skills. And regardless of what profession you're going to go into, whether or not you are a cancer researcher or a public school teacher, you need funding from Capitol Hill. And how do you do that? Through advocacy. And you are not learning those skills in high school. They are impeding on your ability to becoming an active participant in a democratic society. These current gaps and lack of actionable civic engagement needs educational solutions. My hypothesis is this: high school students who receive civic education integrated in their non-social science courses, whether or not that's chemistry, statistics, calculus, will report a higher level and demonstrate a higher level of civic efficacy and curiosity for the democratic system than students who do not receive integrated civic education. My research methodologies include a target group of 150 students from the 5 swing states, a treatment plan of a cross-disciplinary curriculum for half of those students involving civics implemented into their non-social science curriculums, as well as a control, which includes half of that 150 students, continue under this traditionalistic approach in which civics is not incorporated into those classes. And also for my research proposal, and it will include a mixed methodological component of both a quantitative and qualitative aspect. The quantitative aspect will include a research study that will be given on a Likert scale, asking questions about a student's civic efficacy and their level of participation in their community, whether or not that is through community organizing, etc. And a qualitative aspect will include interviewing students that will be randomly selected on if their levels of curiosity and if their advocacy increase, and the question of why. Of course, there are limitations with this research proposal, including a relatively small target group, social desirability bias, geographic limitations, and educational variations. And here are my citations. Thank you very much.